Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
Oh, yeah. We gave up drinking whiskey this week. It was the worst 20 minutes of our entire lives. What's up, kids? You are listening to the Chad and Cheese Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel Kissinger Cheeseman.
And this is Chad. Get the popcorn ready, Sowash.
And on this episode, Amazon has a queue, LinkedIn hits on nurses, and boomers can't get no satisfaction. Let's do this.
Hospitality is the heart of our society. It brings people together to share great food, drinks, and experiences. But successfully managing a restaurant or hotel is no easy feat. That's where Harry comes in. Harry is the frontline employee experience platform that helps you build, manage, and engage great teams. With Harry, managers can easily find and hire top talent, manage timekeeping, and communicate with employees at any time from any place. Candidates and team members can quickly and efficiently apply for jobs, swap shifts, and access important information entirely from their mobile devices. And Harry's robust employee engagement tools make team members feel more connected than ever. With Harry, as an owner or operator, you get a bird's eye view of your business, from turnover cost, labor cost, employee sentiment, compliance risk, and team performance. Run your business better by understanding the power of your people. Because when your team is the heart of your business, Harry is the heartbeat. See how it transforms your business.
Were you overserved last night on the beach?
Oh my God, man. Yeah. So it wasn't my intent to go out last night. I was going to stay home because Julie has trash TV night with the girls. They watch Too Hot to Handle. It's one of those come down after a long day, watch stupid shit. Right?
Is this the points game or the money game where if you like,
get like
naughty,
if you kiss or you screw or whatever, they take money away from you. Yeah, it's stupid.
Is it people from multiple countries this season?
It's brainless. I don't know. But it's like brainless TV, which is, you got hot people on TV. It's totally brainless. You don't have to think about anything. Well, I was just going to watch Blue-Eyed Samurai, which is awesome on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, it's really fucking, it's awesome. It is awesome.
Spoiling it. What's it about?
I'm not even going to tell you. When you get into it, you will get sucked right into it.
Samurai. Okay.
Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Does it star Matt Damon or Tom Cruise?
I was lured down to the bar, which is not hard. And I didn't get home till 3 a.m. So that being said, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you, my friend, need one of our favorite sound bites to feel better. Have a listen.
Like, that thing's giant.
Jesus.
How many times bigger is it than Earth? Like,
the moon?
Yeah.
No,
not bigger.
Yeah, it is.
No.
I wish we had a visual on this because you could see the guy like, okay,
You just
do I
said
want to
you're so
screw this
into
up?
it and you don't know that the moon's bigger than Earth.
Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is bigger.
maybe I just go
it's
with
not.
it.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe I just go with it.
I don't think it is.
Depends on how hot she is, apparently.
It is.
Oh,
don't.
That's why we
The
need the
moon
visual to
is
really
bigger
appreciate.
than Earth. Surely it has to be. Because when you're looking at the moon from Earth, it's huge.
Oh, kill it. Oh my God.
I love
But
Australia.
like,
Australia is just the
It's
gift
so
that
far
keeps
away
on
from
giving.
us.
It is the Florida of the Southern Hemisphere. I swear to God.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is.
All right. Well, can you gather the strength for some shout outs at least?
I think I can.
Maybe one. Can we get one shout out? I'll give one if you give one.
Let's give a shout out to Canadian journalism's win over Google. That's right. Over the years, we've talked about how the internet, mainly Google at this point, has killed journalism. Well, not in Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stated, quote, after months of holding strong and demonstrating our commitment to local journalism, to strong independent journalism getting paid for their work. Google has agreed to properly support journalists, including local journalism, end quote. What does that mean? Well, the Canadian government had estimated earlier this year that Google's compensation to news outlets should be about $172 million. Google's estimates were a little bit lower, around $100 billion. It's still chump change for Google, but remember, many other countries are watching very closely for the outcome of this fight, and they're going to want their piece of Google. Shout out
we were doing our movie. Don't wreck
to the
our
great
show, you
white
loser.
north.
Yeah. Google calls that lunch money.
Oh, yeah. How many times are they going to have to do this, though, from country to country to country to country?
Yeah. I mean, the defense on this, and Zuckerberg basically said zuck off to Justin Trudeau, I think, from this whole process. I saw a story a few weeks ago about how little referral traffic news stories get now on Facebook, which basically says like, okay, you want money? We're just going to take you off the platform. So very little traffic now comes from Facebook. Google, it's a little bit tough because it's a search engine and those are trusted stories. But like Facebook, you can kind of get away with it because you're sharing pictures of babies and your
my sunset
with your wife and your food on the beach in Portugal. Like that's what I have to deal with on Facebook now instead of news stories.
That's news.
That's a good one. That's news. That's news. And so is this, even much less so. But Travis Kelce's been in the news a lot. He's dating someone named Taylor Swift. I haven't heard of her, but she's kind of a big deal apparently. Well, Kelce, Travis and his brother have a podcast. We talk a lot about poaching on the show. You remember American Airlines going after UPS and FedEx pilots for $250,000 to get them to come to American Airlines. Well, Machine Gun Kelly, another Clevelander, as is Kelce, took poaching to a whole new level. I want to play you something from their podcast this week.
Kels, what's good, dog?
I'm sure you get asked this question behind closed doors a lot.
Oh, shit.
I would be remiss if, due to the nature of our friendship and just as a Clevelander, that I did not insert this question personally.
Okay. I don't even know what's
I will give you $500,000 cash upon arrival just for shopping or whatever you want, as well as matching that same amount as a donation to both of our high schools, both Shaker Heights and Cleveland Heights, as well as everyday breakfast and coffee delivery from my restaurant. If you would just come home and put on these colors right here.
You know that was the original dream, dog. You know that.
So, Machine Gun Kelly, $500K, cash money, tax-free,
breakfast.
basically. Breakfast in bed, coffee for Taylor Swift from his restaurant. It's great. So, Shaker Heights is Machine Gun Kelly. Cleveland Heights, I lived in University Heights for a long time, which is wedged in between the two. So this one hit close to home as a Browns fan and as a still Clevelander in many ways. But this takes poaching to a whole new level, and I want to see more of this in sports.
Well, they've got to get somebody to throw him the ball in Cleveland, and they just don't have that. So, I mean, there's no reason for him to go there in the first place because he can't throw himself the ball. Okay, so it's unfortunate, but it's just the case.
He goes on to say, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I got it pretty good in Kansas City. So he goes on to say, like, it's not too bad. But you know what they say about quarterbacks in Cleveland?
60% of the time, it works every time.
It's more like 10% of the time it works every time. But
well, you know, is people who sign up for free shit.
Our listeners are winning. That's right. Sir. If you go to chadcheese.com/free. You can get yourself a t-shirt from our friends at JobGet. Beer, craft beer, delivered to your doorstep. Not by us. It's going to be UPS or somebody like that, FedEx. From Aspen Tech Labs, our friends over at Aspen Tech Labs. Whiskey, 2 bottles. I don't want to think about whiskey. I don't want to think about whiskey right now, but 2 bottles. You're going to get delivered from Text Kernel. That's right, our friends at Text Kernel. And if it's your birthday, it's rum with plum.io.
Can you feel the tension in the air right now?
I know I can. I can feel it all the way down to my plum.
Sounds like he needs to take that plum assessment is what it sounds like he needs.
Best sponsorship ever. All right, so Rum with Plum, if it's your birthday this month, you could win a great bottle of rum from our friends at Plum. So celebrating another trip around the sun this week, listeners Deidre Pitts, Frank Wittenauer, Mary Kelly, Michael Cox, Nathan Budziak, Terry Kaler, Stephen Branch, Andy Parker, Kyle Pollard, Alex Murphy, Ryan Irwin, Mason Wong, and Matt Grafflin, and our friend Torrin Ellis all take another trip around the sun this week. Happy birthday to them. And by the way, Chad, we're working on our Christmas cards for the year, which you can only get if you sign up as a fan. So if you want the Christmas card this year and you don't want to just have FOMO on social media, go out to chadcheese.com, click the free link, and sign up for our stuff.
We send cool stuff. And it's and it's for free. And got to say, it's going to be great next week. Yeah, it is next week. Jesus, it's going to fly out on Saturday. Really looking forward to seeing all my friends and people in London for TA Tech Europe next week. I'm especially interested to see what a room full of tech vendors think innovation looks like these days. Chat GPT was launched to the public about a year ago. And I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see large language models, data sets, those types of things. I want to see these brains working. So this is my challenge to you, everybody coming to TA Tech. Don't come with the basic bullshit stuff, okay? I don't want to hear about emails, okay? I don't want to hear about, I want to hear about the really cool innovation that you guys are bringing to the market. There it is.
I think you're saying not too much fish and chips, not too many pints before you come. Come to play, because Chad's got his game face on.
That's right.
Chad, we got a lot of great shows, but we got another one that maybe people don't know about. We're doing the Chad and Cheese podcast does data with Toby Dayton from Link Up. We look every month at the Fed numbers, employment numbers, economic numbers, and we dive in. We give a Chad and Cheese spin to it. But if you haven't plugged into that, it's only on YouTube. Check us out at youtube.com/@ChadCheese and get all the economic goodness from our friend Sasquatch of statistics, Toby
Economic
Dayton.
Goodness.
That's right.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's winding down, Chad, and not looking good for me. I'm going to have to root for you. Well, fantasy football. Again, our friends at Factory Fix, we appreciate it. Not looking good for me. Chad is looking pretty good here in week 13, I think. But here's your leaderboard. I feel pretty good about my nicknames Chad. You ready?
Okay.
And number 1, we got Marcy Mallrat. Number 2, Michelle Sargent Peppers. Number 3, Vitamin Dina Pero. Number 4, Chad GPT Sowash. Oh, that was pretty good. That was after about 3 drams of scotch. Number 5, Bagga Dixon. That's Joe Bagga Dixon, by the way. Number 6, Cypress Jill Patterson, for the Cypress Hill fans. Number 7, Cool Mo Dean Osner. Number 8, Brent Losi, how much you could save bundling your home and auto. You may not get that because you're not in the U.S. anymore. But if you watch football, you know that one. Number 9, Joel Gargonzola Cheeseman. By the way, Chad, did you know that there is 1,871 types of cheese in the world? I didn't know that. Number 10,
I did not. Yeah.
Jasper I Wear Spanx Spanjart. Number 11, Dennis Quaid Tupper. And number 12, The Caboose, Kristen Urban Dictionary. And that is our Factory Fix Fantasy Football Leaderboard. Put me out of my misery. The season is almost over.
Topics.
Let's topics this bitch. And what better way to start our topics than Elon Musk, Chad? Elon Musk, speaking at the 2023 Dealbook Summit, defiantly addressed advertisers leaving X, formerly Twitter, due to anti-Semitic, did I say that right? Posts he boosted. Musk told them to go fuck yourself and threatened to expose their actions. He admitted posting foolish content and denied being anti-Semitic. Musk discussed unions, China's influence, and voiced AI concerns. I couldn't believe that he actually said, go fuck yourself. So we had to go to the audio, Chad. Enjoy it.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself.
But
go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
So there you go, Chad. Go fuck yourself. In job site news, however,
yes,
x.com/jobs is now live. Yes, it redirects to twitter.com because x.com isn't working apparently. But whatever, dude. If you had, quote, it'll look like Indeed circa 2008, well, you win because it looks just like Indeed circa 2008. Reviews of the new job board, vertical search, job search engine are mostly positive, but this whole effort is barely halfway to first base. Chad, your thoughts on all things Elon this week?
Yeah, let's go to the things that matter most, and it kind of trickle down. So, kids, we're watching the richest man in the world melt down right in front of our eyes. The "Hi Bob" comment at the end was for Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, who pulled Disney's ad budget from Twitter after some of Musk's controversial tweets, retweets, boosting, that kind of shit. But Disney isn't the only advertiser finding the exit. IBM, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Sony, Comcast, NBC Universal, and Lionsgate are some who have left the burning building. I think it's fairly simple. Brands and people don't want to associate with a platform full of anti-Semitism, conspiracy theories, and division, for starters. The optics are bad, and the moral dilemma is even worse when advertising dollars go to fuel this hate machine, right? So the following is from a Slate article just last month. Quote, since Musk bought Twitter in October 2022, can't believe it was only that long ago, it's lost approximately 13% of its app's daily active users, according to new data from mobile research firm Apptopia. And its rebrand as X only accelerated the decline, end quote. So blue checks, ad dollars, $1,000 monthly business accounts, and 1990 style job boards, they can't save this dumpster fire. They are throwing everything at the wall. But the thing that everybody's hearing is Elon's one of the smartest, he's richest man in the world, looking like a total fucking ass. It feels like it's almost every single day. So, I mean, who wants to be a part of this fucking dumpster fire? I mean, obviously these big brands don't, and it's their prerogative not to. And since he told them to fuck off, I guess they sure the hell don't have to come back.
No. Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You remember the movie Brewster's Millions?
Yes.
So for the kids out there that don't know, Richard Pryor, John Candy's in it. Anyway, it's a forgettable movie, but the premise is Richard Pryor, if he can spend, I think, $1 million over 30 days,
think it was 30 million or something like that, but it was a lot of money. He had to spend
like $1 million a day for 30 days or something.
Yeah,
so anyway,
like
he had to spend a ton of money.
Yeah.
Which in 1980, whatever, was a lot of money. Like that was he was buying teams. He was buying like real estate and crazy stuff. And he was given money to employ people. Everyone knew that it was going to end badly. Everyone knew.
Well, and he couldn't have any assets at the end of it. He couldn't have any assets.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. Get rid of the money. And so.
And he couldn't have any assets.
The point of it is, it was entertaining as hell to watch this guy spin down the toilet and know that the whole shit show is going to end badly. And that it was at least going to be entertaining for everybody, and no one was really going to get hurt other than him. There's an element of this to me that's incredibly entertaining in a Brewster's Millions type way. I mean, you always think about having so much money that you don't give a shit. Elon Musk has so much money, he doesn't give a shit. And we get to watch it every day with crazy shit like going on CNBC and saying, go fuck yourself to like the top companies in the world, frankly. So that's very entertaining. The anti-Semitic stuff it's nothing new to Twitter. If you don't like Twitter or X, go somewhere else. I don't feel like unlike Facebook, it's not, no one's like, Twitter's not destroying teens from what I can tell. Unlike TikTok, it's not the greatest propaganda
I don't think
machine
they're using it
for the CCP of all time. If you don't like Twitter, get the hell off it. Otherwise, or don't advertise on it, don't watch it. But it's a fun train wreck for me at this point to watch. And I thought about this the other day. Would you rather Elon be Chinese or Russian or Iranian? I mean, there's an element of me to like, thank God he's American, because if he was in any other country and their governmental like DNA, he might destroy the world. But for whatever reason, America embraces this shit, and if you got money, you can do stuff like this. Anyway, Elon is
still do it
total
here.
Shit show. We enjoyed the hell talking about it. Let's talk about the jobs thing for a second.
Yeah,
we didn't know what it would look like. Would it look like a little search bar on top of Twitter? Would it be in the sidebar? Yeah. But that's hard because mobile is most of what Twitter is. So now it looks like it's a standalone x.com/jobs. And it's basically put in your keyword and put in your location. You can click the little map icon to get where you are, like directly.
It's a job search.
It's a job search. And
that's all it is.
When you, so there's no, you can share a job. There's no bookmarking. There are no job alerts. All the sort of traditional things you think about when you think about these things. You can't really join, like your Twitter account. It doesn't really wrap into applying.
Why are they wasting their money on this? I don't understand.
So they've certainly partnered with Appcast to provide content, because most of the jobs I clicked on were Appcast. So they're at least making money on the clicks from Appcast. It looks like there's a deal with Greenhouse, because a lot of the jobs are Greenhouse, so maybe they're plugged into Greenhouse XML feed or
just
something.
ATS feed, yeah.
Tesla jobs are all over the place, which I thought was interesting. So all of Elon's stuff is going to get preferential treatment.
Yeah.
I mean, will it make 10 million a year? Are they going to promote this thing? You can't post jobs on it. I assume if you pay for the job posting thing, those jobs are on the board, but the applies sometimes go directly to the job description. Sometimes they go just to the job search page.
It's a mess.
Which is a whole list of jobs, which you then have to go and find what job I was applying to.
Yeah.
There's no direct apply. They should have called Job Sync to like direct apply to all these things. It's a mess. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that it's early. They still are a big platform with a lot of people. This feels a lot like when Facebook had jobs for a while, and then it was just a mess. If they ever open the floodgates of you can put a job up for free or for some cost, then it's just Craigslist. Then it's just chaos and anarchy, which maybe Elon wants. But it's nothing to get excited about at this point. Go see if your jobs are there, I guess, and see how you feel about that. And does anti-Semitism come into play with your jobs being on this platform?
That's the thing, right?
That's the thing, right? Yeah.
Oh. I mean, think about it. All these companies who are literally they're leaving. They're not interacting or engaging on Twitter anymore. I mean, you've seen some of these marketing departments from some of these big companies. Yeah. They've gone radio silent, right? They're just not engaging anymore because they can't be a part of it. Not just pulling down ad dollars. So what if you're using Lever or Greenhouse or one of these applicant tracking systems, and your jobs just magically show up on Twitter? Oh, I would go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think Appcast has had a call yet around why is my job on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm gonna be reaching out to them after this. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be reaching out to them after this because not only that, think about all the ad agencies that are using Appcast and whatnot. Yeah. Do they know that their clients could prospectively be going to Twitter? Right. I mean, dude, there are just so many bad optics that are happening here for any brand, right? Unless you're a red balloon kind of company. Okay, great, right?
Yeah.
That's good for you. That's awesome for you. But a lot of these companies do not want to be associated with this bullshit. And their brand might be included, and they have no fucking idea that their brand is included. So reach out to Greenhouse. to our friends at Appcast and so on and so forth to see if they're getting the okay from these companies to be able to actually push them to Twitter. Because if they're not, we're gonna have a whole fucking segment around that.
Yeah, if you're listening and you're a blogger, if you need a good blog post, go look at all the advertisers that have like left Twitter for this shit and see if their jobs are on the job board. And that'll be a great post for you to get traffic about all the companies that are on Twitter with jobs, even though they're not advertising with the company. Wow. Oh, it's just fun to watch.
My headache just got worse. Need more water.
All right. From one car crash to the other, let's go to Amazon. Well, they finally have an answer to ChatGPT, Chad. Amazon launched Q, a generative AI-powered business chatbot responding to competitors like OpenAI's ChatGPT. That was this week. I'm sure the folks at 007 have nothing to say about the name Q as a brand. Anyway, it aims to synthesize content, streamline communications, and assist with tasks. Q can do things like synthesize content. I just read that, I think. Q can do things like synthesize content, streamline day-to-day communications, and help employees with tasks like generating blog posts, as well as aid employees with tasks like support tickets and policy inquiries. Priced at $20 per user monthly, it competes with Microsoft's and Google's enterprise chatbots. Resources discuss AI management in the workplace and its potential in HR tasks. The first 100 customers get a complimentary toy penis rocket from Blue Origin. Okay, I made that last part up. But seriously, Chad, big deal, little deal, or no deal?
Yeah, I mean, late to the party is not a big deal for them because they have so much data to train on in the first place. I mean, this is just going to be a suite of services for all of these companies. I mean, you take a look at Microsoft, take a look at Google. This is going to be a part of the suite of services. I really believe, though, that the new big evolution of these large language models is actually going to be just around the data piece. So a large language model, if you think about it, is like a car, and the data is like the fuel. And much like the walled garden platform that have cut Google out of indexing their content over the years, the exact same thing's going to happen here. So go back to the my earlier shout out where journalists will start getting paid for their work on Google. Assessing training data or accessing training data will be the evolution of this same situation. You want to access the news, you pay. You want to access the data, you pay. Knowledge is power, and access to that knowledge is going to cost money. So who wins in the war? Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Anthropic, and much like the Canadians are doing for journalists, we're going to have to build legislation around this as well. Just because I'm using Google, Gmail, G Suite, that doesn't mean I'm allowing Google to use my data to train their LLM. Same goes for Microsoft, Windows 365, and all their other products. So this is not just a conversation around the really cool AI. It's what's fueling the AI. And that's a lot of the contents like we're talking about, again, for Google being shut out and a lot of these walled gardens. How are they going to pay? We need regulations, and that's going to be the next evolution, I think.
What are you doing, step bro?
Do you remember when smartphones were all the rage? And after Apple made the iPhone, Android came out, which made sense. Open source and all that. But then Microsoft had a phone, Amazon had a phone, Facebook had a phone. They did the software on it. And we sit here today with Coke and Pepsi, Android and iPhone for the most part. And AI to me is no different. You had OpenAI come, the floodgates open. By the way, him coming back to the company, we touched on that on the Turkey show, but
good point. Yes.
It's like Back to the Future. It's all back to normal. We'll get a new board. We'll make a ton of money. It's all good. Anyway, so to me, it's like if you don't have AI, then you're just screwed. You look like a backwaters hick from an Australian dating show or something.
Everybody's going to have it.
So all these companies are like, we got to have an AI. So OpenAI, Google has Bard, Llama or Lambda, Llama, Lambda, Alpha, Lambda. Anyway, Revenge of the Nerds reference for those
Lambda,
of you
Lambda,
Gen Xers
yeah.
out there. Yeah. And now Amazon has to have this chatbot. Now, what's interesting is it's an enterprise work-related chatbot. So they're coming at a different angle. Their one benefit is the AWS spin on it, because a lot of companies have their sites hosted on AWS. So if they push this thing to all the techies, all the CTOs out there, like, hey, you're already using AWS. Here's this really cool workplace chatbot. We already have your content through your database that we're running on AWS. Like, why not make a cool sort of conversational thing that uses all your data from the company that you want, some that does whatever they want. I don't know how that'll work, but that is the one in. They don't have to advertise this on TV. Like, hey, if you're at work, like, use the AWS chatbot at work. They can just like wrap this in to a company's AWS account, and that way it could work. But I don't see a ton of people like getting all juiced up about Q's enterprise chatbot. I just don't see it getting all that excited.
Yeah, no, but I mean, think about it. This is just going to be like cloud computing was. It was like everybody has it now. It's just how you do business. These co-pilots are going to get better. All of those companies have cloud services, right? AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. I mean, they all have cloud services. So yeah, I mean, this is just going to be something that everybody has. The biggest question is, once again, are they going to be able to use your data in the larger scheme of things to be able to train their large language models? That to me is that's going to be the big question.
Yeah. Similar to the mobile wars, I guess, it really became a game of who has the apps that people want. Like, where are people developing the apps? And that ultimately was the iPhone and Android. BlackBerry's marketplace sucked. Everyone else sucked or didn't have enough traffic. So AI is similar in that if you don't have the data, then it's kind of worthless. And if I were...
It's like a car with no fuel.
Like I argued back in the day that Microsoft should just give the best apps like a bucket of money and say, you're going to exclusively put Angry Birds or whatever was hot back then on Microsoft's platform and no other platform. So people would start buying Microsoft phones because that's where Angry Birds was.
Xbox and Halo back in the day.
And we're seeing this happen. If I'm the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, whatever, I'm going to all these companies and saying, who wants it? Who wants all their data trained on this stuff, on this great content? And it'll basically potentially strangle or suffocate all the other AI services or make them become niche around internal content or whatever. That could be a play. We'll see. But to me, it's similar, like the apps are who's going to win. The data is who's going to win if this thing becomes more of a commodity. Who's going to develop on it?
Yep.
Let's take a break and come right back and talk about LinkedIn. All right, Chad. Well, let me start by saying congratulations on your 20th anniversary with LinkedIn this week.
Yes.
You, my friend, joined 2 years before me because I had to go check. I wanted to say 2005 was when I got on LinkedIn. Now, at the time, it was mostly a sales thing. You were a sales guy. I was marketing guy at the time. So I could see where you would be more in tune with it than I was. But anyway, they've added a new feature. They're going after a new market. LinkedIn has enhanced its job search features specifically for nurses, aiming to cater to the 3 million nursing professionals on the platform. The updates include specialized filters for job searches, adding over 65 nursing credentials, and 35 skills to user profiles. With nurse shortages and increasing demand, various job sites, including ShiftKey and ShiftMed, have garnered significant investments, reflecting the industry's growth. Chad, celebrate that anniversary and tell us what you think about LinkedIn's move into healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, adding some filters here and there, credentials, and I mean, for a segment of the working population who doesn't frequent LinkedIn that much in the first place, I don't think it really matters, right? What does make sense, though, is becoming the lifestyle app for these workers. So, for example, as you can see, I actually wore my Harry gear today. But for example, like Harry, they are an app that employees use on a daily basis. Why do they use it on a daily basis? When I want to check my work schedule, where do I go? I go to the Harry app. What about clocking in and clocking out? The Harry app. What if I'm in the ICU and I need to message my boss who's in their office and they're 3 floors away? Well, I go to the Harry app and I message them there, right? That's how you become a lifestyle platform. Right. And then you build an ecosystem around that. The problem with LinkedIn is they're at the top of the funnel. Right. Then you also have companies like Paradox who have started to move toward that applicant tracking system, right? Being the applicant tracking system, being more of the actual system for those workers, the frontline workers. These companies, the Harrys, the Paradoxes, what have you, they're going to beat the shit out of, mark my words, the LinkedIns and the Indeeds, because they're going to be sticky and the employees are going to be there the entire time. They can build ecosystems, not just for employers, but for the entire frontline ecosystem itself. So if I want to get a shift and I'm working, at this hospital today and I want to go get a shift and I see that there's open, I can go ahead and pop over there and they already have my information. I'm in the system. I can pop over and I can run a shift over there. That's what tomorrow's workforce is definitely going to look like for nurses, right? And really a lot of frontline employees. So I don't think this does anything to move the needle at all for LinkedIn. It's cute. It's nice. But to be quite frank, at the end of the day, it's just not going to do what LinkedIn needs it to do. They need to move down the funnel.
Yeah. By the way, we have some hidden footage from the meeting where LinkedIn decided to sort of get into the space.
Like, that thing's giant. How many times bigger is it than Earth? Like,
okay. The part about the filters. Remember when Google came out with the ad about veteran?
Oh God, yeah.
Categories is the wrong word. They had filters for like number. This. This is your.
It was MLS. Yeah, it was military occupation codes. Yeah, and they fucked it up. And they fucked it up.
Great. Like as a non-veteran, I watched. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That seems really awesome. And then you peed in my Cheerios and said like, no, this is bullshit. So I got to think at some point nurses are going to look at these filters and whatever LinkedIn has done and said like, well, this is stupid. This is bullshit. So techies hate LinkedIn. Developers hate LinkedIn. That's why they're on GitHub and all the other places, because all they do on LinkedIn is get hit up by recruiters. They get no value out of being on LinkedIn other than I get recruited. So the people that don't want 18 calls a day from recruiters just say, I'm not on fucking LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has pretty minimal privacy stuff. So it's like, if you're on LinkedIn, you're going to get hit up. Oh, yeah. I got to think nurses either feel the same way or are going to feel the same way. The 3 million that they have, that's really a small number for someone like LinkedIn who has a global footprint the way they do. I got to think the only people on LinkedIn and like are recent nurses, people who just got out of school and like heard you got to be on LinkedIn. They're getting hit up on the regular from recruiters. Yeah. So it's like nurses, just like developers, are not going to like flock to LinkedIn because they have new filters for job search or whatever. No. So it's like really stupid. Now, I will give them this. They will be able to go to every hospital, every healthcare system in the country, probably the world, and get half of them to be like, yes, we want the new nursing, whatever, because we need nurses. So it's like,
because
they're going to make money from this. They're going to like get companies use it. And like Monster back in the day and Indeed today, no one gets fired because they use LinkedIn. So they're going to get people write checks to this. So in that case, it's a win. But 5 years from now, we're not going to be talking about LinkedIn as like this juggernaut healthcare nursing platform. Like it's total bull. It's a really quick money play. It's like Twitter launching jobs. It's like people, the strategy meeting at LinkedIn was like, how do we get a quick $100 million? And someone said, nursing. Let's target nurses. And the next 12, 24 months, they will make that, $100 million or whatever. And then they'll be like, it's a big success, and then it'll fizzle out, and like it'll be done.
It was the exact same conversation that they had in the boardroom at Twitter. How are we going to make some more money? Job search. We'll start a job board.
Yeah, we have that tape too from X.
We do. Yeah, we do.
Doesn't work. All right, so let's go to our next story.
Oops, winning.
Unions are back in the news. Well, after smacking around Detroit's Big Three, the UAW has launched an unprecedented organizing campaign. Unprecedented is saying a lot for the unions, by the way, Chad. Aiming to unionize thousands of non-union auto workers at over a dozen automakers in the U.S., including Rivian, Lucid, and pretty much everything out of Japan and Germany. It covers nearly 150,000 workers. Since winning big.
Oops. Winning.
There it is. Since winning big, various automakers have responded by raising pay, but the UAW asserts that non-union workers still lag behind in benefits and rights. Chad, your thoughts on this year's cinematic hit, The Union Strikes Back?
So Sean Fain is for real. And we called this a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not just going to go ahead and retread this. Just go ahead and play the audio from earlier this month.
All right.
This is all power to the people. There's a huge shift in the union side of the house. Hell, we're talking about non-union workers who are getting the UAW bump, right? Anybody who's not a part of the union, they're going to get a bump. But what do you think that's going to make them think about? Should I join the union? Toyota, 9% bump. Should I join the union? Maybe I could have got more. Should I join the union? You take a look at Tesla after, Elon's bullshit in Sweden, and Swedish Tesla workers are on strike. But even better, dock workers are refusing to let Teslas into the country in solidarity. Why? Because they're like, you know what? That might not be my job. I might not be a Tesla worker, but they're a worker just like I am. I think we're finally getting to the point where it's like, hey, I can actually feel your pain. And I understand that could be me. Okay, so one word, momentum. Sean Fain has it and Elon Musk does not. I mean, can you imagine the meltdown Elon would have if Tesla workers unionize? I mean, get the popcorn ready, kids. No shit. And as you'd said in a video, Fain points out that electric vehicle makers, Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid, they've reported huge profits. Then Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, Nissan, 470 billion in profits over the past decade, and with more than 40% of their revenue coming from North America. So, I mean, he's looking at the numbers. He's incredibly smart. He's being transparent about all this. And he's saying, look, we know what you're making. We know not only what you're making from a profit standpoint, but we know what you're making, and you're actually pushing up in salaries and bonuses to the people who aren't doing the work. And that's the fucking C-suite. The people who are doing the work deserve the more pay, right? And I mean, so this is something that, again, I really believe is resonating all over the United States. We used to be the individualism is key, country. And we see that did nothing but fuck us at the bottom line, while other people were getting paid millions and millions and millions of more dollars. And they're like, wait a minute, that's why they want us to just think about ourselves, right? Because when we do that and we're not together, we're not as strong. So now they're starting to coalesce, they're starting to come together, and they're becoming stronger, and they're going to get more money out of it. I think it's just going to happen. And I can't wait to see the union boom.
Yeah, I can hear Elon saying, go fuck yourself to all his workers as we speak.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, we're capitalists on the way up and socialists on the way down.
We gotta just find a middle. Can we find a middle ground? I mean, seriously.
It's really interesting to me. You remember when Meta launched their metaverse thing? Like they changed their name. They were all in on the metaverse.
Yeah.
Until they found out the metaverse wasn't like gonna happen, at least not in the way that I and Zuckerberg thought it would. So what did they do? They said, we're going to cut the budget for metaverse. We're going to get efficient around our profits. We're going to get serious about what we do well. And their stock is like fucking blown to the moon. And their quarterly earnings report was insane in terms of like cutting costs, but making more money. It was ridiculous. So it's no surprise to me that this week we had news out of GM that they are cutting the budget of the cruise department or cruise business.
Yeah.
For better or worse, the car companies are going to be forced to look at what is profitable and what is like R&D money pit down the toilet investments. And to me, it's not a great sign for automated driverless cars that they're getting out of this. Not getting out of it, but they're cutting the budget. And also reports that electric vehicles aren't exactly what the market thought it would be, or the government, or like a lot of budgets that Ford and car companies are talking about spending on EVs is now getting pulled back because they find out, well, EVs look like shit. That's my own opinion. Tesla Rivian, Fisker, they're the only ones that look good. I look at a Mustang EV and I want to puke because I'm at a certain age where Mustang to me is like 66 Mustang, like muscle car speed, and I look at this CRV basically Mustang and I want to puke. So anyway, EVs aren't happening. Automated driverless cars aren't happening. So car companies are like, look, we got the union tsunami coming. We need to start like getting serious about our business, start cutting costs, stop doing frivolous stuff, leave that to the startups and the crazy ones, as Steve Jobs would say. So the good news is, I guess, companies are like getting serious about paying workers because they know the unions are coming and they can't be spending frivolously on stuff that's not working. So for me, that's a good sign. Media is going through the same thing, right? Disney, we got to get into streaming. Well, shit, streaming is like not as much as this cash machine that we have over here. Do we dump streaming? So companies are really coming to Jesus about what makes money and what doesn't, and shareholders are forcing their hand. But it's great to see that unions, in addition to getting workers what they're due, they're making the marketplace work as it should and only put money behind the things that are actually working. And in this case, that means people. And that's a great thing for civilization and America.
Yes. Yes and yes.
And what else is great for America, Chad? The Rolling Stones are back. Let's take a quick break. All right, Chad. The Rolling Stones revealed their 2024 North American Hackney Diamonds Tour, sponsored by, wait for it, AARP. That's right, the Organization for Americans aged 50 and above. That includes us, Chad. With Mick Jagger at 80, Keith Richards at 79. How is that dude still pumping? Okay, Ronnie Woods at 76. The band released their first album since losing their original drummer, Charlie Watts, back in 21. The tour spans 16 cities with an exclusive pre-sale for AARP members, of which I am not, Chad. I won't speak for you, but I refuse to join AARP. The result of this pre-sale, well, that's right. You can guess it, Chad. I've fallen and I can't get up. The AARP site crashed, inspiring boomers everywhere to lament the days of camping out for multiple nights in real life to score tickets. I'm sure all those AOL dial-up accounts that still exist didn't help either. Talk about can't get no satisfaction, Chad. What are your thoughts on the Rolling Stones tour?
Yeah, I mean, I got to give it to them, man. Talk about prolific, being able not just to put out freaking music, but to be able to perform on stage. And I don't care if they don't have the energy that they used to or what have you. No fucking kidding. Mick Jagger's 80 years old. So yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing. I think first and foremost, I can't believe it's taken them so long, AARP, to get Rolling Stones on board, or at least an older act like them on board. And then the whole ticket sales thing. I mean, did we not learn from Taylor Swift? I mean, and her just buckling the internet, for God's sakes. This shit's going to happen. I mean, it reminds me back in the day when Monster and Hot Jobs did the Super Bowl commercials, and Hot Jobs literally just went away. It went away for like a day because the traffic broke it, right? This is what happened here. I don't understand why they can't be ready for load balancing and traffic these days. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Chad.
What?
Hey, Chad.
What?
You can't always get what you want. We out.
We out.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The Chad. The Cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho, pepper jack, Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chadcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!